Welcome to our webinar today. Little bit of housekeeping. My name's Jo, so nice to meet everybody who's joining us. Little bit of housekeeping. We are recording this webinar today, so we will make an on-demand version available to everybody who's registered their interest in this particular event. That will also go on to the Grunberg & Co. and Reanda websites once we've captured that recording. So feel free to go back into this and recap on any of the points made when you wish. Second point is we're due to run for about 60 minutes today. I'm hoping that we'll have time for any of you who have any questions for Sydney to put those forward. If you could use the Q&A tool on your Zoom toolbar for that purpose. We've got the Q&A box open on our desktops in front of us, so we can have a look at the questions coming through, and I'll come back at the end and field those back towards Sydney. We'll try and answer as many of those live as we possibly can. Okay, so it's my pleasure to be able to welcome both Robert Bean, Managing Partner at Grunberg & Co., and Sydney Tam, Principal Advisor at Reanda Consulting Hong Kong, who've joined us today. Welcome to Sydney. I know it's late where you are at the moment. Robert's going to do the introduction, and then we're heading off into Sydney's presentation. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Robert.
Thank you, Jo. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on the transformative influence of artificial intelligence. As Jo has just said, my name is Robert Bean. I'm Managing Partner at Grunberg & Co. and Reanda UK, and we are delighted to be your host for this event. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by our guest speaker, Dr. Sydney Tam. I first met Sydney at the Reanda conference in Beijing last year, where he delivered a presentation on AI to our international network, and I'm delighted that he has agreed to be here to deliver this to you today. Sydney is a holder of multiple doctorate degrees in cross disciplines and has over 35 years experience in healthcare, diagnostics and telecom sectors across Asia and the US. He was previously the regional executive in Fortune 500 companies for more than 20 years and has also incubated numerous biotech and biohealth companies, ranging from startups to those successfully listed in Hong Kong and the US. Cross-border innovation and transformation has been Sydney's focus for the past 20 years, including IT, media, manufacturing, healthcare services, and venture financing. He has published several academic papers, created the co-process model, and helped develop several software design patents. In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, AI stands at the forefront of innovation, presenting unprecedented opportunities and challenges for businesses of all sizes. From streamlining operations to enhancing customer experiences, the potential applications of AI are vast and multifaceted. In this session, Sydney will delve into the ways in which AI is reshaping the future of SMEs, exploring both the benefits and implications of embracing this groundbreaking technology. I now welcome Sydney to begin his presentation.
Thank you very much, Robert and Jo. Should I now to share my presentation?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This is Sydney Tam. Just landed in Shenzhen, who is the most prospective business hub in China. Probably perhaps maybe the southern part of Asia too. Today, I'm delighted to share some of my insight about the future decision trends with the AGI and GPT. I tried to use some jargon word instead of a shorten of our discussion. If anybody still have any problem on that terms, let us know, and we can explain a little bit later after the presentation section. First of all, let me share with you what we are going to discuss. Primarily, a lot of people still concerned about what will be the technology driven into our coming futures. As most of us sitting here tonight or this afternoon are all the business decision maker. Some could be the challenging themselves by running the operation. Some of maybe helping other people to running their business in all different professional. However, making decisions will be probably our most important and most responsibility in all of our whole life, personally as well as professionally. However, when the technology evolving, particularly in the last 24 months, some of the technology hasn't been really reached into our life or even into our work. So most of our decision pattern will still be as before, that will based on our cognitive behavior. However, when the technology evolving, those decision behavior perhaps may change, and that probably will be the key discussion today. Share with you how it will be, how it will look like, and hope that you could share some of your insight together with me, and perhaps we could develop and transform ourselves together. So first of all, let me share with you what will be the latest generative AI adopted by the industry. And you can see in this slide, primarily, majority of this technology adoption are driven into the three major area: business-related service, technology-driven, and primarily is the customer services. So you can see that area was not a very highly demand technology sector in the overall industry across. However, those are the area which we require most of the decision-making driven behavior in running the business effectively. On the other hand, you can see the bottom line: education, financial services, as well as the government behavior are quite different, which they are more compliancy, more regulated, and pretty much more, I would say, the stubborn. Okay, in order to adapt the very advanced technology, and hence, particularly financial services, that today most of our alliance are here, focusing on this industry, have more than 20% have no idea what the generative AI are doing in this coming world. So it will be pretty much a red flag in terms of the technology adoption. But on the other hand, when you look back 30 years ago, when the ERP are starting to roll into the industry, back into almost 16 years ago, ERP have been evolving in the last 40 years. And majority of adopting the ERP through 1980, 1990, and year 2000, financial service actually play a very important role to drive the role into the IT-based technology. Plus the technology like internet and mobile phone are coming over. But so therefore, when you look back 30, 40 years ago, financial service are primarily the pioneer to drive the IT deployment. But why the AI are not the key driven from the financial service? And that probably will be something we will be interesting to explore. But nevertheless, let me share with you what the functionality of the generative AI and the GPT will work into our decision making. When we look at our decision making process, traditionally, we notice that we all have a bias, okay? We like or dislike. Plus, when we making decisions, we have our constraints. We are very concerned about our accuracy and the efficiency. Therefore, most of our decision making was really based on what we knew and what we could proceed. However, most of the decision has to face dealing with the future uncertainty. So the difference between our knowledge and something we don't know or uncertain could be the major decision-making boundary. Therefore, if we have any advanced technology, which could have a better analytical capability and much faster processing ability to help us to make an accuracy and a speedy decision-making, it will be fantastic. And that is what the AGI and GPT work for. And if we can integrate them, perhaps that will be even helping us to make a better, insightful, predictable, and even more statistical output across the industry. And that is what we want to see. So nevertheless, my initial conclusion for everybody here today is they are not our enemy. they actually helping us to live better and make better decisions at all. When we look at our decision-making perspective, we all are based on the data. That's why in the last 30, 40 years, big data is the big things for us making decisions. Even that, we still make a pretty bad decision at all. Across from the military, to the government, to the big corporation, even to our own life. Why? Because most of our traditional decision methods are based on the experience-based rule. That all are the history. And unfortunately, most of the decision has to be taken care about the future, which out of our knowledge and uncertainty. Therefore, if we have something like AGI could help us to know more than what we could know, perhaps we could take a better action by using the GPT technology, making a better decision by using the natural language processing, LLP, or even the deep learning technology. However, today, I'm not going to share with you what is the LLP or deep learning technology as of today, but I will share with you how it will impact our decision-making process. What is our major limitation? Look at ourselves. We have our own bias. We believe what we believe, okay? We have a pretty firm belief on what we have success or what we have been learned. And that, along with our knowledge and success and all of our lifetime, we will become an angling of this. We will be even screw our bias into something hard rock iron. We will not change it, okay? And that kind of the critical judgment will be impacted by all of this kind of a bias. Therefore, we need to be very conscious about our limitation, and that I will explain into another way, because our bias actually make it by our decision. How does it look like? Because we notice that our behavior are all based on this major 4 category. We know what we know. Everybody knows. It's called a public. We know something most of the people doesn't know. It's called private. Okay. Most of the people doesn't really know about that. We call it the blind. And most of our don't know everything, and this is called unknown. Along these 4 different areas, what actually will be dangerous for us when making decisions is, of course, things we know of or aware of is very straightforward. However, things we are aware but we don't know, things we know but we are not aware, and actually we don't know anything, those are the areas that will damage our decision making. And now today, the artificial general intelligence are driving us to address those areas effectively. So we don't need to be spending a lot of time to know everything. As a matter of fact, we couldn't. However, we will have tools available today to help us to overcome those red areas that will damage our decision-making performance. So therefore, what about the artificial intelligence? They're all about knowledge beyond the services. As we notice that it will be more effective for us to drive off our understanding and utilize it and unlock our value of the AI. As a child said, knowing what you don't know is the most useful than being a billionaire. And using the AI will make us work smarter, not harder at all, and therefore unlock the potential, will help us to get the opportunity. So in the coming next few slides, I will share with you what the opportunity will look like. Again, untap your technology and the knowledge will be the most important part for us to improve our decision making. And of course, by doing that, we will have a risk to deal with in order to manage something we don't know. And of course, something we don't know, and we even don't know what we don't know, will be the will be our uncertainty. By doing with this technology, the generative AI are helping us, are promising us to have some new technology. They are not teaching us, they promise to tap us into something that we would like to know or we should know about that in order to reduce some of our uncertainty, managing that. Hence, we'll be able to reduce our risk. So those are the three major character and the functionality of what the generative AI will help us. Now, let us to move on from a knowledge to become the mastery, okay? And what we all need to do is to transforming ourselves, transforming our behavior into the new role of the skill development. Knowing the AI, using the tools are not something gimmick technology that only few people can know how to do that. As a matter of fact, it's just a skill development and it could be applied for everybody. And everybody could also be able to have that skill development as well. And see how we can do that. First of all, the GPT, generative pre-trained transformation or transformer. And actually, there's a combined with three things: the generative, pre-trained, and transformer. What means of the generative? The generative means that by using some of the technology like natural language programming in order to understand very frequently and frequently about our intention. What human intention could be. Most of our argument, most of our disagreement, most of our fight, most of our anger are come from our communications. All of our decision, disagree, or conflict are all because of our communication. And the communication are based on the improper explanation of our text and messages. So, you know what I know, but you don't know what I mean. However, the generative has a capability to understand all kinds of the language from all kinds of the human being and all kinds of the explanation in terms of their text performance. And that will help us to eliminate a lot of the misunderstanding, bias, or whatsoever internal intrinsic behavior. Therefore, it will speed up our own judgment or helping us to reduce our own bias. That was the first part. Of course, they may be wrong. Of course, they definitely will wrong. Therefore, they train themselves. And this training are not at the real time dealing with you. They are being trained. They train themselves before interact with you, before making the mistake. That is another very important capability of the GPT. Pre-trained ability, it's much more important than all the human being can do. We make mistake because we are not knowing. We make mistake, we are biased. We make mistake because we don't know that particular knowledge, and we have to make the decision. However, if we can train it, if we learn about the mistake, we are fine. However, we pay the cost because we make the mistake already. GPT, very clever. They try to make the mistake, but they don't actually make the mistake. They pre-train themselves. All right? So that kind of the pre-training ability can help this technology to transform into another meaning. That will help us to explore ourselves and prompt us to know something new. So that is the overall generative pre-trained transformer behavior. I hope that kind of the layman explanation could help us, most of us, we at least relieve some of our fear and tension about using the GPT. There's some cases that I would like to share with you, particularly in the finance area, making decisions. In many financial institutions, most of our critical task is to help our customer to reduce the risk and then making the trade more safe and strategic approach. However, that kind of the assessment and the strategic development will require a large scale of the data, a very complex modeling, as well as the meet all different level of the regulatory compliancy. And that amount of the search and understanding of those information would be the massive job for the financial service professional. Therefore, GPT could be a very useful device or tools in order to optimize this process, and even can help us to make a proper decision. And I will share with you one of the example in the following slides, which is the ESG auditing. Here is a summary by one of the professionals who are already using the AI, actually is the GPT, to providing their ESG services to their client, and they found out there's a major 7 benefits. Information mining, very quickly, okay. The intelligence will be actionable, means the interacted with all the data you can mine automatically, and then will extract the information in the table from all the big data and the resources, and then starting to help you to scope which area you want to focus and recognize the historical insight to lay out all the compliancy, and then lay out this compliancy, and you can look at the probability of what kind of the prediction will be compliant with, and ended up will develop the Q&A, question and answer engine, to help you to really understand the scenario and the scope of the ESG compliancy for certain industry and corporations. So that probably will be some very genetic, and I want to share with you some of the insight, which the team laid down the 2 areas: how to manually use the ESG in auditing, and how to use the AI-powered ESG in auditing. And you can find the most and more fun for advantage is if you do it manually. Normally, you will take at least 2 to 3 weeks to really understand the whole process and check out all the diversified, massive documentations. However, in the AI, we could be relatively quite seamlessly to use the reader to help us to do the information mining, okay? And that information mining are already very much available tools into the market. Secondly is, after all this search, if you do the mining, you have to work on the matching with all the wording or your contextual search. In AI, everything will be done in a very simple step, okay? And that will help us to generate what we want to do the evaluation of the data. And that kind of the data, if you do the manually, you have to use your form factor, you have to use your table, you have to use your evaluation tools in order to help that kind of the data analysis. So in summary, using the manual approach, you probably need to do a very much heavy manual work, labor-intensive resources to develop a comprehensive auditing work. On the other hand, AI-powered approach will make you more effectively and even more frequently to help to scope with the much larger scale of the data and come up with the more particular and insightful information for your conclusion and the summary. So those are the new area that you could consider with. And of course, if you really want to explore, definitely we are happy to support you on how to develop the tools as well. Now, coming into the final sections of these discussions, I will have another around 10 minutes to summarize it. What will be the trends of the decision making? We all are afraid of AI replacing our role. As a matter of fact, for those people who do not need to make decisions in their job, okay, perhaps they will be, okay. However, for those people who really need making decision to be their major professional tasks, that will be a new chapter for us. It could help us to change our behavior and the working style in order to making decision. The way we make decisions are based on multiple factors. Today, if you add AGI and GPT, perhaps some of your pattern or your process will definitely adjust. And it will be difficult for me to explain to you what particularly adjustment will be, because it will be very much depends on the individual. However, in general, what we have been doing the research in the last 16 months, we found out the decision accuracy will actually definitely improve it. Okay, and the confidence of making decision by making the data analysis and making the reliable choices, the confidence level has been increased. Therefore, we don't see AI will be replacing us. As a matter of fact, human-AI collaboration will be the new paradigms for us to develop. AI are learning from us, as the GPT is the pre-trained transformer. They need to learn from human. On the other hand, human also need to learn from the AI. Particularly, the human need to guide the AI to make a complex decision and dealing with the complex problem solving. So those are the area I will recommend top executive need to starting to screw up your time and spend more into understanding and using this kind of the technology. For my financial colleague, I shared with you last time already, there's a few very key value that you could be enjoy by using the AI. Most of them are data related. When we using the data analysis before the generative AI become reality, our own judgment, human judgment, will be the final step. And due to our limitation, the predictive analysis basically not exist, and therefore most of our decision could be a little bit delayed, and even we will not be enhance our decision making for certain complex situations. With the generative AI available, we probably will be able to help us to go into futures. Then we will be able to understand something we did not understand today, and perhaps we could make a viable and accurate decision as of now. So those are the beauty part of using the generative AI. Although that we also need to worry about some of the problem by using the AI. Primarily are the free area, the compliancy, the regulatory, and the guidelines. The ethical concern about using the AI will be very critical. Okay, and that part, fortunately, the Western world are leading that role and forming the global consortium now to help us to build the human guiding AI organization. So that part, I hope it will be enhance us and give us more chapter and the guidance for us to build our future's life. Most of the people concerned about the privacy and data protection, and I want to share with you, when AI growing into the real practice, privacy and data protection perhaps were already absorbed and managed by the AI alone. Okay, the formation of our generative AI already consider the privacy and the data protection, and the expression of the artificial intelligence will no longer rely on stealing the information from your private life, or storing the data from improper way. So those areas already be covered seriously. However, still there's some major challenging on implementing that. Okay. Behind the data privacy, the integrations and the ethical dilemma are the most challenging part of us in order dealing with the decision-making system. Okay. Which things should be the right things for us to rely on the artificial intelligence helping us to make decisions? Or they still are working as a decision supporting functionality, and humans are still the final decision-making entity. We still argue about that. However, if we really believe on the technology that we create, and they actually helping us on the decision-making process, why we stop them to help us? Therefore, in order to overcome that challenges, we really need to prioritize our transparency and really invest on some of our measurement and governing. Okay, we rather than stopping them and hope that it will not be growth to help us. Look at the internet, look at all the industrial revolution in our last 100 years or 200 years. Whenever a major technology transformed our life, we all have that kind of the behavior. But history tells us, if we don't learn it, if we don't adapt that, we will be disappear or replaced by someone who knows it and use it more effectively. Therefore, my urge to everybody today is really to adopt this kind of the situation. Train yourself, train your employee, create a culture to really understand that and align this AI strategy with your own business objective. Otherwise, I'm not so sure that we will be able to connect to each other in the next 10 years again. So willingness to change is the strength. Okay, and I hope that even though today implementing the AI, plugging in them into our daily life may make some confusion, and I hope that this confusion will just for a while and it will be our future ocean. So in making the conclusion, I want to summarize in that way. First of all, AI or generative AI need to be collaborated with human and strengthen that in order to make the complex decision. So collaboration will be the first thing we need to work with the artificial intelligence. Okay, not relying on them, not controlling them, is the collaborating with them. Secondly is continuous learning, not stopping them. Not stopping AI to learn, not stopping us to learn AI, helping them to changing the data and refining the algorithm. Okay, if there's a mistake, we stand up, we refine them. We hope that in order to prioritize that kind of the evolving, we probably could be able to build a new landscape for leveraging the AGI and the GPT capability. Last but not the least, I want to share this free word to everybody. Embrace this transformation. Embrace this opportunity. Embrace that kind of the transformation and technology to overcome some of our limitation. And we need to know we have our own limitation. And then integrate that into our life, into our business, and help us to build our strategic insight. Then we could be advocate and promote that. And hope that using this, we will have a better life. So that will be our whole today presentation to everybody. Thank you for your attention. So I pass my time back to Robert and Joe.
Thank you very much, Sydney. There's some great content in there. Happily, we'll take any questions now that anybody's got. Again, if you could use the Q&A option on your toolbar to put those forward. I've got one here at the moment, Sydney, which is, do you think businesses confuse what's the difference between automation and what's AI?
Absolutely. Although my native language is not English, okay. I'm just Chinese, okay. But let's then still distinguish about the automation and the artificial. Okay. I give you a very simple example. When we're hungry, we eat apple because we think it's healthy and it's automatic. Okay. But then we won't buy our phone because it's also called apple. It's called artificial. Okay. So we said, oh, when you're hungry, you want to eat something healthy, apple. But today, apple are no longer just an apple as a fruit. It's also a company, a smart device, something that we have to live with. It's called Apple too. So therefore, automatic is already happened in our life, just like the fruit. Okay, we go to the subway, we go to the elevator, we even go back to the home and cook everything. It's automatic. Our rice cooker is automatic, right? Our elevator is automatic. Okay, even some of the home light already automatic. Okay, when you talk to the Apple, hey Siren, it's automatic. But the intelligent needs us to interact with. Okay, so I think the business will no longer be there on the automatic. Okay, automatic is just a functionality. Artificial will be the intelligent. So we need to interact with the intelligent. We could use automatic, but we need to interact with the intelligent.
Mm.
I hope it answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. And if not, happily take any more on that. You also talked about chat GPT through the presentation as well. I know that obviously in the media there's lots of talk as well about Copilot, and how that's being used at the moment. Could you perhaps enlighten us a little bit on how you think that's operating at the moment, how much of that we actually see or don't see?
Okay. First of all, there's two company products. One is the OpenAI, GPT developed by them. And then the Copilot is the product that invented by Microsoft, which primarily used it into the current tools like Office. Basically, they are very similar technology. Okay. I would say Copilot are based run on the GPT platform. It's still the transformer. But however, transformer, this technology was not come from OpenAI nor Microsoft. It's from the group of the Google. Everybody noticed that. Okay, but they didn't use it. It's quite a kind of shame. Okay, but nevertheless, people use it and now become a very, very important technology learning, like the deep learning. Okay, those are the transformer basic algorithm. So I think using Copilot or GPT, or maybe in the future, then we will have the Reanda pilot. Okay, that we can also be using them to help all the Reanda people to understand and communicate differently in order to understand what the chairman was trying to explain. Okay, so for example, so those are the technology that we could be developed. And transformer, pre-trained transformer, or generative pre-trained transformer, GPT, there's three different things, but they put them together only at the moment. Okay, some technology I only have the transformer, some technology which I'm using right now primarily is the generative. Okay, and then I also will use the pre-trained data in order not to transforming, but in order to transferring. Okay, so those are upcoming technology will evolve, and it will become a very interesting scenario to see more and more terms and technology available to tackle different industry and different business segment. Okay, I can elaborate a little bit more since we look like I have a little bit more time. For example, most of the rewarding business now using the transformer are the understanding the customer experience. Okay, as we all notice that doing business, one of the major challenge is once customer pay you, how do they like you? How do they value your services? How do they value your product that they merchandise? In our previous life, we basically don't know. People go to the Walmart to buy things. Walmart doesn't really care. You go to the Costco to buy things and you eat. They don't really care whether you eat nicely or loudly. Okay, so in the future, we need to be more competitive. And if we could be able to understand whatever service we deliver, our customer will able to reflect their value to us. And then we will know, this is good sign and this is the bad sign. This is something we need to improve. They will be doing better. So for the customer value proposition, they will gain progressively along the time, rather than they always get the same kind of the Me Too products. So learning customer experience are always a difficult task. And because customer may express it differently, okay? But by using the GPT, by using the large language modeling, by using the LMP, all kind of this technology, could be able easily to embed, translate, and understanding all kind of the different language and the meaning. And that could be simplify them and group them into the understandable data. And that probably will be a major development to understand customer experience. And that perhaps will be a new revolution in all of our business practices. So for example, just like that, could be a very major development. And I can share with you, nowadays, at least 40% of the AI-related new startup are doing that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Sydney. That's all the questions I have. Robert, did you want to add anything into that?
No, that's very informative. Thank you, Sydney, for your expertise as always. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. I just see there's a question popped up.
There is. What are the popular AI tools that could be used today in performing audits and the preparation of accounts?
All right. First of all, I'm not the auditor and the CPA, so Robert probably will be a right person to ask. But I think at the moment, there's some tools available in the AI area to do the auditing performance. However, the auditing world are very much local regulatory control. Okay, so there perhaps maybe a lot of the local compliancy on top of that as well. So if it is primarily for the auditing services, at the moment, as far as I know, there's not much available tools that you can refer to. Perhaps that would be a good opportunity for Reanda to talk about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Sydney. Well, as I said, this webinar has been recorded. We're going to make an on-demand version available on the Grunberg & Co website and on the Reanda website if you want to tap back into any of that. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your time, Sydney. Very much appreciated. And thank you to Robert for hosting the event today. Thank you very much.